in color. The continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neal as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord.
Rachel Wells has been returned to Peyton Place. Her plan was to take Elliot Carson's baby son Matthew away from the house, then return the child unharmed, thereby gaining the love she had lost by months of deception. This desperate plan has been shattered, and Elliot Carson cannot forgive her.
Mike? Oh, no, thanks. Why don't you two go grab a cup of coffee at the inn? I'll call you when they get around to him.
Rachel, how are you? Where have you been? Are you all right?
Rachel?
You look after her for me, would you?
Well, you want me to represent her?
What does it matter? As long as you find out.
Well, I'll do what I can. I'm the girl's lawyer. Is there someplace we can sit and talk?
Of course.
I'm going to talk to my father. I want to talk to him. Can he see that I've come back? You tell him that I've come back.
Right this way, dear.
No, you can't take me away from him. No. Didn't you tell him that I brought home my little brother? Why doesn't he know?
He knows.
Well, then why won't he come?
Now, come on, Al. Come on.
Rachel, we're going to have to ask you if you...
May I talk to her first, please?
Well, all right, go ahead.
It's a pretty bracelet.
My father gave it to me. Would you like to see it closer?
May I? There's an inscription on it in French. What does it mean?
I watch over those I love. And I do. Weren't my parents glad that I brought Matthew back?
Yes, they were glad. And grateful.
I took very good care of him.
Yes. Where did you go?
To the farmhouse. I didn't want to, but I had to because he made me.
Who?
Jack Chandler.
He made you take Matthew.
Yes. He told me that he knew everything and that he'd tell if I didn't go with him. He'd tell and they'd hate me. Because I lied, they'd hate me.
Who'd hate you?
My parents.
Parents?
You took Matthew back so that they wouldn't hate you.
I want them to love me. And I want them to punish Chandler.
Why?
Because he made me get into his car.
At the school?
No. I was running from the farmhouse. I was on the road, and he stopped the car and made me get in. I didn't want to talk, but he made me. He twisted my arm. It was so long ago.
So long ago.
It's hard to remember.
Is that when the bracelet broke?
I tried to get away. It came apart.
But I thought you found it.
That was later, much later, I think.
Can you remember why you ran from the farmhouse?
No.
Was it because of something you saw?
I told Mr. Chandler. He made me tell him.
Would you tell me what you saw?
Do I have to?
I'd like for you to.
I saw her kill Aunt Lucy.
You saw someone kill your aunt?
Yes, she killed her.
Who killed your aunt?
That girl.
What girl?
Stephen, I'd like to finish this. What did the girl look like?
She had long brown hair. And she was very strong. Aunt Lucy wasn't. And the girl knew that, but she had to get the Bible away from her.
Who had to get the Bible?
That girl. Her Aunt Lucy would pull it out every time she wanted to punish her.
How would she punish her with the Bible?
There were letters in it. From the girl's mother saying that the little girl was always bad, and that wasn't true. And there were clippings from some newspapers.
Go ahead.
Dr. Rossi, you don't think the girl killed her parents, do you?
I don't know. What do you think?
Her Aunt Lucy said she did, but I don't think she did. Not on purpose.
Is this one of those clippings, Rachel? One of those clippings you're referring to?
And not on purpose. She didn't do it. Oh, it's so confused. The firemen wrapped up the little girl in blankets, and they put her in the fire truck, and she sat there, and finally she saw her father coming. He ran into the flames to get her mother, and he didn't come out. And he was going to take her to the circus.
It says here the girl was seen playing with matches.
Oh, no! She didn't! She didn't!
Let her go.
She didn't kill her Aunt Lucy! And she didn't kill her parents either. She couldn't have because they're not dead.
Both parents died.
No! Her mother's at home with her little brother right now. Matthew. My little brother. And my father's out there waiting for me. He's taking me to the circus. He promised.
Rachel.
Why do you keep calling me Rachel? My name's Allison.
Well,
Coffee's cold.
did you find out anything else, Mike?
Practically all of it.
Well, I think you two can handle it.
You're part of it, Elliot. The least you could do is stay and listen.
All right, then, let's get it over with.
Does she still think she's Allison? She isn't faking?
No, she's not faking it. She's hiding. She realizes that Rachel Wells isn't worthy of the Carsons' love, and Allison is, so she becomes Allison. She's paying for a childhood and adolescence full of guilt. First, you see, her warm and lovely Aunt Lucy took her in after the fire, and then used the information she found in her mother's letters and the newspaper clippings as a club to terrorize her, to browbeat her into submission. Oh, it was easy enough. All she had to do is keep reminding Rachel of her responsibility involved in her parents' death. And then Rachel just obeyed like some whipped dog.
Well, that was long before she came in contact with Allison.
Long enough for her to become just desperate, and so she knew she had to get the papers. Her aunt wouldn't give him up without a fight. And in the fight, her aunt's heart stopped, and she died at Rachel's feet.
No, that's what Allison saw, and then ran.
Yeah.
Did Rachel say where she ran to?
Well, Chandler found Allison up on the road. She was hysterical. He left her there and went to the farm. Rachel said she has no idea what happened to her after that.
No, Rachel wouldn't know. But if we had known even that much, we could have questioned Chandler right then.
That was months ago.
That's right, Steve, months ago. So whatever link, whatever clue he could have given us, it's too late. It's gone. Much too late.
Elliot, Rachel knew that.
That didn't stop her from lying to us.
No, but don't you understand? If Rachel admitted knowing Allison, she would also have to admit killing her aunt.
But it was an accident.
Yes, it was an accident. But it was such a delicate thing that Rachel couldn't understand it in her condition. It was an either-or thing with her. Either she admitted knowing Allison, and therefore lose your love and Connie's love, or she could be quiet and try taking Allison's place.
By kidnapping Matthew, huh?
Elliot.
Did Chandler have anything to do with taking Matthew?
No.
Is there anything else for me to know? And I'll petition the court to appoint a psychiatrist. If Rachel's as withdrawn as you say she is, I don't think there'll be any charges. Because of her condition, and there was no criminal intent to do harm. I'll talk to you later.
Well, I guess that takes care of that.
Well, it doesn't really.
Well, I don't want to hear anything.
Elliot, listen to me.
No, look,
Elliot, will you?
Mike, please. I just don't have anything left.
Neither does Rachel. But she loves you and Connie.
That's why she kidnapped Matthew?
Well, yes. Don't you see? She was forced into it, with Chandler on one side threatening to expose her, and you and Connie and myself on the other side hounding her all the time. Can't you see what it did to her? Living in Allison's house, in Allison's very room, wearing her clothes, taking care of her little baby brother. Don't you see what it did to her?
Are you saying that we did this to her?
Well, yes, you and I, all of us did, without knowing it. And so she planned to kidnap Matthew, hoping to get Chandler involved in some way, knowing that once she returned the baby, safely, she would warrant your love again.
Simple.
It was simple for her. And then Chandler was arrested and her story fell apart. So she was afraid she'd never get your love back again. And she became Allison, the lost daughter who was sure of your love. You see, Elliot, she wasn't responsible. We have to understand her and help her.
You help her, Mike. I can't.